is Ranney. I'm a Muay Thai fighter.
My name is Konstantin Krapiva, and I'm a Muay Thai student. Started Muay Thai in 2008, right after I graduated high school. I saw the movie Ong Bak, and I was like, wow, that's definitely something I want to do. It was aggressive, you know, it was really violent and just, you know, just one-on-one. So I really liked that.
I got started in Muay Thai from a friend. He actually started, and I was not jealous, but I really wanted to do it. You know, because I've loved martial arts my whole life, ever since I was a little kid. Always watching Kung Fu movies. Being an only child, I watched a little too much Kung Fu movies. And I didn't want to be an old person one day saying, I wish I did that. So I signed myself up. And
at the time, I was also having this weird dream. You know, I would be in a fight in my dream, but every time I go to punch the guy, right before I hit him, I would feel weak, and that really made me mad. And I know how to do something, you know, and I tried karate as a kid, you know, everybody does when you're like 10, 12, and I was like, you know, that's not really for me. I wanted, you know, I saw Ong Bak, I was like, I want to be like that guy. So those two things together, and me just turning 18, going to college, I was like, boom, let's do it.
My name is Sergio Cabrera, and I teach Muay Thai here at the Rockville location and DC location at the Yamasaki Academy. How would I describe Muay Thai to someone? It's a lot like kickboxing. That's usually what I tell people. It's a lot like kickboxing. But you get to knee people, you get to elbow, you get to do throws. So if you could imagine kickboxing with knees and elbows, you pretty much got a good picture of Muay Thai. But basically it's any boxing strike that you can get, any kind of kicks that you can get, knees and elbows with a lot of throws, with good throws involved.
I'm Scott Drummond, assistant Muay Thai instructor at Yamasaki Academy. I got involved in Muay Thai after watching a UFC event. I believe it was UFC 40, and one of the events, the guy was very good stand-up with Muay Thai, and they kept saying the Thai clinch, and he was kneeing, and I had never seen that style before. Preparing the fighters, that was my first time fully being a coach for the other fighters. Before, I was always one of the competitors, and so I actually got to see the other side of the coin this time. And it was very interesting, very exciting, and also a little nerve-wracking. Only because you train these people for so long and you care so much for them. And it transcends far beyond just the martial art, and you do really build a relationship with them, a friendship, that it's all incorporated into how you prepare. And with my knowledge from the several fights that I've done, I tried to apply that to how I coached Konstantin and Albert when they were preparing for their fights. For both of them, it was their first time stepping into a ring, so I knew that they were going to be unfamiliar with how to diet, how to train, how to rest, all the different things that you really have to take into account when you're preparing to step in a ring and fight somebody.
To help deal with my first fight, I actually didn't think about it at all. If I thought about the fight, sitting at work, there's nothing I can do about it, it would stress me out, it would just drive me crazy. So I would never think about the fight, even up to warming up for the fight. I just did not think about it. It would just I'd feel it stress me out and zap my energy, and it wasn't helping thinking about it. I couldn't sleep, so didn't think about it at all. You know, I didn't think about my techniques or anything. I just let my mind do what it's used to in sparring and let that take over.
Oh man, Albert. Some of the things I could say about Albert is, one, that dude is big. He's tall and he's very, very lean. So for his weight class, he's got a very good jab. The dude trains hard. He trains boxing here, he trains Thai boxing. So he trains both, and he's very well rounded with his hands. There's not that many Thai boxers who bring the type of hands that he does. He also has some very bony elbows and knees, so when he hits you, they hurt.
Training for the fight is really a 24-hour, a day thing. You have to watch the diet, you gotta sleep well, and everything was for training. 6 days a week, mostly sparring, lots and lots of sparring, zero gym. I didn't lift any weights at all, just ran, sparred, and it's pretty tough because I had a lot of bad days, and my ego was pretty hurt getting beat up every day, but it makes you a better fighter. You gotta have those hard days and really push through it.
For this, like 2 months, it was lockdown, phone off. It's like, I don't want to even get that temptation, I know I got to be at the gym, coming in for the boxing class, an extra hour, trying to just sparring as much as we could. Just even at home, you know what I thought it was like? It's like if I go to school, they give you homework, you got to go to like lecture, and then you got homework at school. I was like, this is school, and I come to class, but then they give me homework. So I go, like the days I didn't train, I go either like on a run, or do like an X amount of pull-ups and push-ups, just to do something like, it's a little homework assignment for myself. Just to, like that extra little bit of training.
The thing I love about Thai boxing is that you can't just be a brute and come into Thai boxing. You have to think, and you can't just be this technical guy, you have to be athletic. So it's kind of like a physical game of chess. If you make a wrong move and you have the athleticism to pull something off, you can show off somebody's weak point, or you can pull something off and show somebody's weak spot by showing them that there's a gap that needs to be filled in as they train. So it's physically a game of chess. You have to think 3 steps ahead, and in this game, there's consequences if you mess up.
You win some, you lose some. That's just the reality of life and the reality of competition. You can't always win. I know it sounds, kind of cliche to say that, but really I just told him, dude, do your best. I'm proud of you, for you even stepping into the ring. I'm proud that you're even going to come in here and fight as hard as you're going to fight, and you're going to be willing to meet this guy, head to head. Just do your best. Do the same thing we've always been doing in training. Do the same thing we've done every class. Do the same thing we've done every sparring session. Do the same thing we've done every pad session. Only now you have 3 rounds to do it and make the judges believe that you won, or do it faster so that you can knock the guy out and we can go home sooner.
The first fight of the night for us was Albert, and we had actually 4 fighters on the card. When you're going into the very first fight, I think your nerves are a little bit heightened because they're setting the table for the evening, essentially.
I've never really experienced fighting in front of people or having a crowd, and it's a whole different thing where you have your, adrenaline and all that. Pretty calm during sparring, but you can't really, it's hard to stay calm in your first fight. You're not used to it. It's the first fight.
I was trying to be the one in charge to make sure that he was staying calm. I was trying to make sure that he was staying still and not pacing around and wasting his energy, and letting his nerves get the best of him. When you're in a fight and you're backstage waiting for your match, there's 10 or 20 other fighters in the red or blue corner, whichever one you are. Everybody's shadow boxing and hitting pads, and there's the smell of the different liniments and things that you're putting on, and you can almost just feel the tension in the air of a bunch of guys that are getting ready to fight.
It was really nerve-wracking. You know, the weigh-ins and everything was so official. It's like you see it on TV. I was like, what? Like all this for like this little like area of Thai boxing competition? But I guess so, and it was really cool. It was really official. You know, the weigh-ins and everything. And then we got to the event. We got to the venue like 5 hours before it started. And I swear that they do that just so you can like sit there on needles and build up tension. I don't know why they do that. But, you know, saw the doctors, all this paperwork. And it was really hard to sit still, but Scott and Sergio kept on telling me to sit down, you know, save your energy, save your energy. I had so much energy after I could bounce off the walls and fight for days. I was like, ugh, first fight, like ring, what do I do? But Sergio, Scott, you know, they knew who I was fighting, but they didn't know much about him. But the fact that they were like, you're ready, I was like, all right, cool.
During my fight night, I was really excited. I just wanted to get in there, almost to the point where I couldn't control myself. I just wanted to, you know, run after him. And the ref kind of had to say, you know, calm down a little bit. And the first thing that happened that I remember is he hit me with the right cross or some kind of punch. And I felt like a chunk of my mouth come out, like a piece of skin. And I almost was knocked out first punch.
I got very nervous at that moment because we couldn't tell if he had just slipped or if he had actually been caught with a solid shot that maybe was going to put him down or rattle him enough to affect the outcome of the fight.
And I thought to myself, I'm not trying to get knocked out with my parents in the crowd. That's not going to happen.
Recalling the fight, I can barely remember. You know, I had to see the video before I was like, oh man, I did that. Because, you know, before the fight, they're all like, think about your combinations before you throw them. You know, like cross hook cross, you know, kick, cross, kick. You know, as soon as that bell rang, all that flew out of my mind. I just wanted to hit him first and hit him more and hit him harder. And that's what I went for. And literally, I can't thank the trainers enough because, you know, think about it, think about it, think about it. You really can't. They drill it to you. They drill it into you to the point where it's just instinct and automatic. And that's like, that's the way I feel like it should be. And that's the way I'm glad it turned out for me.